friend. Welcome to day 4 of our final week in the letters of John. Today we are wrapping up the third letter of John, which we saw yesterday. Oh, it's a very personal letter to Gaius, and what a privilege we have. I hope you felt the same as I did yesterday, that it's a real privilege to have a window into a personal letter, and really it gave us a window into John's heart for Gaius and probably how he felt about others in his flock too. We got to see how he prays, how he rejoices, and how he praises and encourages Gaius. Today, the passage takes a little bit of a turn, and he gives Gaius some instructions. So let's go ahead and read, and then we'll talk about it just a bit. Starting at verse 9, I have written something to the church, but Diotrephes, who likes to put himself first, does not acknowledge our authority. So if I come, I will bring up what he is doing, talking wicked nonsense against us. And not content with that, he refuses to welcome the brothers, and also stops those who want to, and puts them out of the church. Beloved, do not imitate evil, but imitate good. Whoever does good is from God. Whoever does evil has not seen God. Demetrius has received a good testimony from everyone and from the truth itself. We also add our testimony, and you know that our testimony is true. I had much to write to you, but I would rather not write with pen and ink. I hope to see you soon, and we will talk face to face. Peace be to you. The friends greet you. Greet the friends, each by name. All right, the word of the Lord. So while we see today, as I mentioned before, this takes a real turn, and the subject is another person, Diotrephes. And yeah, there's two other people. If we ask that who question, there's two other people mentioned in today's passage. But this Diotrephes, wow, he seems like a bad egg, doesn't he? He obviously has caused trouble, and I just made a list of the things that I learned about him. I asked, okay, what does John have to say about him? Number 1, we see Diotrephes likes to put himself first. Number 2, he does not recognize the authority of John and others. Number 3, he is talking wicked nonsense about John and others. That's just bad. He's talking bad. He's talking wrong. Nonsense means to babble, to make foolish or nonsensical utterances. So he's just talking babble about John and the other believers. Number 4, as if this isn't enough, friends, Diotrephes refuses to welcome the brothers. Not only that, he stops those who want to welcome the brothers. And then last of all, he puts them out of the church. My goodness, this is bad news. And I thought, wow, it's really easy to be disgusted by Diotrephes. But then I was like, okay, there's probably application here. Friends, how many of us like to put ourselves first? That was the very first thing we saw about Diotrephes. So I think probably that's the first step in a very slippery slope of then rejecting authority and then doing evil and not imitating good. So maybe here is cause. I don't think maybe. I think there is cause. There is good reason for a heart check. How might we be like Diotrephes? Lord, see if there be any grievous way in us. All right, that was very straightforward, that first paragraph. With that, John goes on to give some instruction to Gaius, and we see another imperative command. John says, look, beloved, he refers to him as beloved once again, and he says, do not imitate evil. Do not imitate evil, but imitate good. All right, to imitate is to reproduce someone's behavior or looks. Do not imitate, do not reproduce what Diotrephes is doing, but instead imitate, reproduce Jesus, right? What Jesus would do. Imitate good. Whoever does good is from God. Whoever does evil has not seen God. We have seen John make that statement in his other letters. So that was nothing new. But here, I felt like here is a key statement that John makes. Do not imitate evil, but imitate good. We can easily apply that, can we not? All right, was there anything else I wanted to say about that? No, I think that's pretty straightforward. I felt like this was a call then to do good and receive Demetrius, right? Welcome Demetrius. He goes on to say, look, Demetrius has received a good testimony from everyone and from the truth itself. We also add our testimony, and you know that our testimony is true. So we don't exactly know who Demetrius is, but it seems to make good sense that he would be the courier of John's letter, does it not? These letters didn't go just through the normal postal service. This needed a courier, someone to deliver it by hand. So probably this is Demetrius. And then John just basically concludes his letter, and it's very short. He's like, look, it feels like John has so many more things he wants to talk about, but he doesn't want to write it in pen and ink. He wants, or with ink and, no, he does say with pen and ink, but he wants to see them. He wants to talk face to face. I love that, friends. I love that. All right. And then he leaves them kind of with a typical greeting, but or a typical conclusion or farewell. And I love the farewell here. Peace be to you. I mean, what more do we need? Oh, friends, I want to wish that to you. Peace be to you. And he says, the friends greet you. Greet the friends each by name. That's a little bit different to call fellow believers, fellow followers of Jesus friends. But once again, John didn't just make this up. He heard Jesus refer to himself and the other followers as friends. John 10:3. Oh, nope. Sorry, where did I write that? Oh, over here, John 15:15. No longer do I call you servants, for the servant does not know what the master is doing, but I have called you friends, for all that I have heard from my Father, I have made known to you. I just thought that was the perfect cross-reference for that conclusion and that farewell. No longer do I call you servants. Jesus called his followers friends, and John does the same here. Well, I just naturally call you friend. Peace I leave with you, and so delighted to unpack this passage with you today. Pretty straightforward application, is it not? Oh, friends, let us go and do good. Why? Because Jesus did good. He did good. He welcomed us all. Let us go and do the same today. I'll see you tomorrow as we wrap up this week.